Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the evidence you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Let's just look together. Make sure you're speaking directly into the microphone when you talk. Say whatever you need for this ready to make a part.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
Could you please state your name and spell your last name?
Sure. Lloyd Whiting, Whiting.
And where do you live?
Pompano Beach.
What's your occupation?
I work for Bank of America in their trust and estates department.
And in 2022, were you living in about the same area?
I was.
Did you attend an event on April 24, 2022 called Boca Bash?
I did.
And is that event in Palm Beach County?
Yes, it is.
Who did you attend that with?
Brian Hernandez, Anthony Bullen, Jeremy Crawford, Mauricio Patino, and another gentleman, I don't know his last name, his first name is Mark.
So were there about 6 of you?
Correct.
Have you ever attended that event before?
No, first time.
Could you describe what Boca Bash is, if you know?
Yes, it's basically a sandbar where a bunch of boats get together, drop anchor, and just spend the day out on the water.
Around what time do you remember arriving to the Lake Boca area?
Sometime late morning,
Would you estimate 10, 11?
probably around 11.
Okay. What did you do when you guys arrived?
We dropped anchor, sat down, chit-chatted, had a couple of beers, people watched.
Were you drinking?
Yes,
What kind of drinks were you guys having?
beer.
And how many drinks do you have? Do you think you had throughout the day?
Probably 3 or 4.
And that's total?
Yes,
At any point during the day, were you kind of people watching at any time?
all day long, yes.
Okay. And did you notice a female on another boat wearing a red bathing suit?
Did.
Permission to retrieve states 2.
You may. Defense. You can retrieve whatever you want.
States 2 also. I'm showing you States Exhibit 2A and States Exhibit 2B. Is this the female we were discussing with the red bathing suit?
Yes.
What did you notice?
So the boat that was docked to the right of us, if I was facing forward in the boat, probably about 15 or so younger people, I'd say probably in their 20s, having a good time, but we noticed the young lady that you just showed me a picture of seemed to be having some sort of an argument. She was, we couldn't hear her, but we could see that she was, the defendant was following her back and forth. So she'd be on this side of the boat, she'd get up and she'd leave and she'd go to the back of the boat and he'd follow her, and then she'd go somewhere else and he'd follow her. This went on for a good 15, 20 minutes or so.
Okay, so let me stop you right there.
Yeah.
You indicated that you saw her and she was arguing, and then when you said someone, you referred to somebody by the name, like you said, a defendant. Do you see that person in the courtroom today?
I do.
Could you please point to him and describe what he's wearing?
The gentleman there, I'm colorblind, but he has a light colored suit, white shirt, dark tie.
May the record reflect the witness has identified the defendant.
The record's not so reflect.
So when you saw them arguing, would you say that it was one argument you saw?
I can't tell you if it was one argument or not. Like I said, it spanned the period of maybe 15 or 20 minutes from the time it caught our attention.
Okay. And when it caught your attention, was this a person, the female in the red bathing suit, was this a person that you were sitting down and staring at her the whole day?
No, but obviously we were people watching, and the young lady in a bikini was, something nice to look at. So
There's 6 guys on a boat, you noticed her because she's pretty.
Exactly.
Okay. So, but then you noticed that there's arguments that are happening, and you estimated about 20 minutes, you saw an argument going on between these 2 people?
From when I first noticed it until she jumped into the water, yes.
Okay. And as far as the arguments are concerned, you were not able to hear them. How far would you estimate your boat was from the boat that you saw them on?
I don't know, distance-wise, maybe from where I'm sitting to the second or third bench back there.
Okay. What kind of demeanor did she have when you noticed her in this argument?
She seemed to be getting very annoyed.
Okay, and did you notice if he, like, what demeanor the defendant had?
It seemed like he was trying to plead his case, whatever it was, he was trying to get her to listen to him.
As far as physically, did you see anything physical happen between them while they were on the boat?
For the first 15 minutes or so, no. You know, she would get up and walk to the other side of the boat and he would follow her. And that happened 2 or 3 times, maybe 4 times. And then the last instance, she was sitting near the back of the boat and he came over and she started to get up again and he wrapped his arms around her, you know, restraining her, keeping her from walking away.
Okay, so he wrapped his arms around her. Were they facing each other or was she facing away from him?
I think she was facing away from him and he came from behind her.
Okay, did it look forceful?
It looked like he was preventing her from moving.
Was she reacting in any way?
She, at some point, she was, you know, pulling and punching his arms, trying to get free.
What happens after that?
She was able to get free from him, and she jumped off the back of the boat into the water. Our boat was here, their boat was there, so she swam this way, past our boat to the boat that was directly in front of us.
Okay, so at this point, is it safe to say that you're kind of invested and watching?
Everyone in the immediate area was focused on what was happening.
And you indicated that she swam past your boat
Correct.
and went to a further boat.
Yes, the other boat was a little further than us.
Okay. How was she swimming?
Very quickly.
Did her demeanor seem to be the same or had it changed?
Gentleman's speculation.
Oh, you can answer if you know.
She appeared frantic, trying to get away from him as quickly as possible.
Did she look scared?
Yes.
So she swims past your boat and does she stop at the next boat?
She was maybe 10 feet or 12 feet short of it when he caught up to her. Shortly after she jumped in the water, he jumped in too, and he started swimming behind her.
Okay, so how long would you estimate between the time that she jumps in the water and he jumps in the water?
Maybe 10 seconds or so.
And so is he closely following her?
Yes, he was swimming faster than she was.
Okay, so by the time that she's about, you estimate 10, 12 feet from this next boat, he catches up to her?
Yes.
Okay. Permission to approach?
You may.
I am now showing you what's been pre-marked for ID purposes as State 6. Is that the boat that we're talking about where she swam about 10 to 12 feet up to it?
I believe so.
Okay, is that a fair and accurate representation of kind of how that boat looked? Obviously not people in different positions?
Yes.
Okay. At this time, state would move State 6 into evidence as State 6.
Any legal objection? I receive State's Exhibit number 6 in evidence without objection.
I'm going to hand you a Sharpie, if you will indulge me. And I would like you to mark a C where the victim stopped in front of the boat where you estimated her to be. And then do you remember anybody on that boat being anywhere specifically, or do you just remember the boat being there?
There were at least 2 older couples there.
Okay, do you know if any of them were in the water at the time that she swam up?
I don't believe so.
Okay. Do you know if they were in the front of the boat, the back of the boat?
Well, like I said, everybody was watching what was going on, so they were standing near the back of their boat, anticipating her coming.
Okay, all right. I'm going to agree that. Permission to publish, Judge? I'm going to show it to defense.
I got it.
You got it? Okay.
Mark?
So we left off, he's swimming quickly, he's able to catch up. What happens when he catches up?
He appeared to push her down under the water.
And when you say he pushed her down under the water, did you see in what manner he did that?
I saw him reach out. I couldn't tell if his hands were on her shoulders or her head, but he reached out and then she was under the water.
Is it difficult to tell whether it was shoulders or head because at that point she's in the water and her shoulders are at water level?
Correct.
Okay. So you are sure though that he grabbed her either on her head or her shoulders and pushed her down?
Yes.
Were you able to see if that was done forcefully?
It appeared to.
Can you estimate how long he had her under the water?
It was brief. At that point, everyone started screaming, and I think it got his attention, and he backed off a little.
Okay, so intervention sort of happened, and then she's able to get out from under?
Correct.
Do you know if she was able to get out from under the water with assistance, or she was able to do that on her own?
She continued to swim the last few feet to the boat, and then people reached out and pulled her up.
Did you see anybody threaten him with any form of a tool or any form of a...
And so the long stick that you use when you're pulling the boat when you reach your dock.
The informal word being a boat hook, I think?
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
Okay, so you saw somebody kind of brandishing that?
Yes, one of the gentlemen had that and, was threatening to hit him if he tried to get on the boat.
Now, how far was your boat from this boat that we were just referencing?
Maybe from here to the defendant.
Okay, so maybe give or take 5 feet closer than the other boat in the different direction?
Correct. Right in front of us versus to the right of us.
Okay, so when you saw this whole interaction happen, you said that you heard yelling. Were you able to distinguish any of the yelling?
I'm sorry. I don't know.
Were you able to kind of make out what they were saying, or you just heard yelling?
I did. The yelling was from the gentleman on my boat and from the people on the other boat, the two couples that I was speaking of.
Okay, so someone on your boat was yelling?
Yeah, we were yelling at him to stop.
Okay, so you were all yelling stop. And then did you hear what the other people were yelling on the other boat? Okay. Was it loud?
Yeah.
And safe to say you're yelling, you can't hear what other people are yelling?
Exactly.
Okay. Now, so you estimated she was in the water for a few seconds. Was it concerning enough that you started yelling stop?
I don't object, it's mischaracterizing the witness's testimony, it's not what he said.
You can answer if you understand.
Yes.
Do we need your, okay. At that point, when she's pulled up onto the boat, what happens?
So they pull her up. Everyone's kind of relieved at that point. The defendant realized that he was not going to get on the boat and he swam off.
Okay. Did he look like he was having any trouble swimming?
No.
At any point that you saw this defendant in the water, did you find him to be struggling to swim?
No.
Are you from Florida?
No.
Have you been here a while?
I've been here since July 2019.
And have you been familiar with any sort of boating, or was this kind of your first time on a boat?
No, I've been on several boats.
Have you ever seen somebody struggling to swim?
Yes.
Okay. Is it like the TV movies, or is it a little different?
No, you'll see people's arms flailing and water splashing, and it's pretty apparent.
Okay. And have you ever seen on that day, did you see anybody struggling to swim?
I did not.
And when he swam away, did he have to grab onto anybody?
No, not that I noticed.
Was there any time that he swam back to that boat?
It was probably maybe 20, 30 minutes later. Everything had settled down. The young lady was still on the other boat, and one of the guys on our boat noticed that he was approaching their boat from a distance. So we all were very upset at this point. We thought it was all said and done, and we started screaming over to the other boat, letting them know that he was approaching.
When this all happened, was it your concern right then and there to get police involved?
Yes,
Why didn't that happen?
it did.
Right away so the timeline that you've painted for us is that she is submerged under the water, pushed down, she's taken out of the water, she's put on this boat that she swam up to. The defendant is not allowed on that boat. He swims away, 20 minutes go by, he swims back. When was law enforcement notified?
After he swam back.
Okay, so why was that the triggering event for law enforcement?
Well, for us, she was safe. She was on the boat. She appeared to be in, the hands of people that were going to take care of her, and it was all said and done.
When she got out of the water, did you see her facial expressions?
No,
Okay, so you're not able to tell us how she acted when she got out of the water after the incident?
no,
Okay. Were you able to speak to the police when they did come?
I did.
And did you provide a statement?
I did.
Did your alcohol consumption affect your ability to comprehend what you witnessed between the man and the woman?
No,
Have you ever met either of these people?
I have not.
At the time, did you even know their names?
No,
Moment to confer. Stay with us.
Good morning, Mr. Whiting.
good morning.
So in your opinion, someone drowning, you believe, from your experience, you'd see their arms flailing and splashing in the water. That's what you just told us, right?
Yes,
All right. That's as far as you personally know. Your experience would be seeing somebody splashing and making a lot of noise and waving up and down trying to get someone's attention, right?
presumably yes.
All right. That's the only experience you have with this, right?
Correct.
Okay. And do you agree you're making a lot of assumptions what was going on the boat before the two people jumped off?
The only assumption I made that was that they were a couple that was arguing.
Okay. Well, did you see anyone physically grab this woman on that boat that was, what, 15 yards from you, 20 yards before they jumped in? How far is that boat, 15, 20 yards?
I would say maybe 30, 40 feet.
Okay. From you to the second row approximately?
So yes,
Okay. And did you have a direct on view?
I did.
Did you see anybody, any males, grab the woman's behind at all?
I did not.
Did you ever see, you recognize Cole Goldberg, right?
I did.
Did you ever see him push somebody down?
I did
Who
not.
appeared to be totally intoxicated on that boat?
I did not.
No? Did you ever see the young lady in the red bathing suit? Did you ever see her yelling at somebody who appeared to be intoxicated? Not my client, somebody else, another male.
No, I did not.
Or in an altercation with that person.
I did not.
And was there music on that boat? People were dancing?
Presumably, yes, that was.
All right, so you couldn't hear what anyone was saying, right?
No,
And when they were on that boat, did you know how old Mr. Goldberg was?
no,
You know how old the other lady was in the red bathing
Objection
suit?
relevance.
no,
You know anything about them?
no,
All right, you don't know if they were dating for a day, if they dated for 10 years. You don't even know if they were dating.
I don't.
All right. You just telling us what you think you observed, right?
Correct.
Okay. And when you say he was following her back and forth multiple times, do you know if he was saying anything to her like, I'm not going to beat anybody up or push anyone in the water?
I could not hear anything.
All right. And do you know if this lady was angry at him because he was not protecting her from another male assaulting her?
I don't know.
All right. How about when he had his arms wrapped around her? Do you know if he was saying loving things or saying mean things at that time?
I don't know.
Do you have any idea if he was telling her, don't jump in the water, there's too many boats here, you can't swim to land, it's impossible?
I don't know.
Do you know who else was on that boat that they jumped off of?
I don't know any of them.
Do you know if the police were there checking to see if everyone had life preservers on each boat?
I don't know.
Did you ever see the police go to the boat that the two people, Mr. Goldberg and the Schwitzsky, the two were talking about. Did you ever see a police boat go to that boat before this incident happened?
I did not.
And the boat you were on, was it like an open fishing boat?
Yes, it was center console.
About 25 feet?
35, 40.
Okay, you had 6 of you guys.
Correct.
All right. So when you say he was playing his case, and she was annoyed he was playing his case, is that just an assumption you're making?
Yes.
Okay. You know how either one of those people got to the Boca Bash?
I do not.
Or what time they got there? If either one with alcohol or not?
I'm sorry?
If either one was drinking, do you have any idea?
I don't know.
And this was the first time you ever attended Boca Bash?
It is.
Mostly young people there in the teens and 20s?
No, it was a mix. Like I said, the boat in front of us, there were 2 older couples.
Okay, so the average age of people were in the 20s?
I would say on average it was probably a younger crowd, but there were people of all ages there.
Did you see any, like sponsor boats, like big yachts that were giving out free alcohol or food?
I did not.
Okay. Did you see any jet skis there? Okay. Somebody officer telling you prior to you writing your statement, imagine if this was your daughter. Remember him telling you that?
I do remember the officer saying yes. Imagine if this was your daughter. I don't remember.
You remember him saying?
Before or after?
I'm sorry?
I don't remember if that was before or after my statement.
Okay. Let me show you the deposition. See if this refreshes your memory. Yep. You can go to page 12, lines 17 to 19, if you could read that to yourself, please.
Okay, yes.
Does that refresh your memory?
Yes.
So isn't it true that the officer told you prior to writing your statement, imagine if this was your daughter?
Yes.
You remember him saying when he got on your boat, this is an attempted murder case, and I need you to write a statement?
No.
You sure?
I'm sure.
Right? So, just so I'm clear, you did not dial 911, right?
No.
You had a phone with you?
Yes, I'm sure.
Okay. And you saw this lady, we'll call it, you know her name is Caroline, or you don't know that?
I don't.
Okay, but the lady in the dating scene. You know who that is, right?
Do I know who she is?
Well, you know what I'm talking about.
Yes, oh yes.
Okay, I'm only sure we're talking about the same person.
Yes.
He actually jumped off the boat that was from where you are to the second row approximately. She jumped off on her own, right?
Correct.
You didn't see my client push her
No.
or throw her off the boat.
No.
Okay. How far away was she when she was swimming in front of your boat? Would you estimate? It's a rough
I
estimate.
would say it was about halfway, probably as far as you are from me right now.
Okay, and you could actually see her while she's swimming, that she's scared? What made, is that what you testified to?
Yes.
While this lady's swimming in the water, what facial expressions lead you to believe she was scared?
I didn't see any facial expressions, but she was swimming very quickly.
Okay, do you know she was swimming to try to get to land?
No, there was no land nearby.
It would be crazy to swim to land at that area, right?
Correct.
Would make no sense.
Right.
Okay. Did you ever see this lady in the red bathing suit screaming, or hear her screaming on the top of her lungs while she was on that boat?
I did not.
Did you ever see Mr. Goldberg, I'm sorry to use these words, but stick his fingers in her private parts
I did not.
and was trying to rip her open? Anything like that?
No.
You would know something like that if it was in front of you, right?
If I saw it, yes.
Of course. You never saw anyone get pushed into a propeller on that boat that was in front of you, did you?
No.
And you don't know if Mr. Goldberg was pleading his case, telling her not to jump off, it's too dangerous, we'll find another way home.
I don't.
What happened to that boat that 15 people were on that they jumped off of? Did that boat leave?
So after she jumped off and ended up getting on the other boat, and the defendant swam away, once he came back and we all started screaming, at some point between then and when the police arrived, that other boat left.
Did the boat that we're talking about go closer to the boat that this lady was on?
No, opposite direction.
All right, so your testimony is when my client swam away, the boat was in the same position it was when they first jumped off that boat?
Correct.
Okay. Did he have a backpack on at all?
I didn't notice.
You never noticed him with a backpack
No,
or any kind of flotation device?
no.
You think you would have seen that since he was right in front of you?
If I saw it, I would have, yes.
Oh, okay. And did you testify it was about 10 seconds after the woman jumps in that my client jumps in?
Approximately.
Okay. And would you agree that when he put his hands on her shoulders or head, like you described, that that was for a brief second?
Yes.
And you actually saw this woman just climb on the boat that the two older couples that you described were on, right?
They helped pull her up.
Go to page 17, line 14 to 17. See if that refreshes your memory of your deposition. Does that refresh your memory that she just climbed on the boat without any help or no?
I did not say that she had help, but I believe she had help.
Who helped her and how they helped her, do you remember?
I don't recall.
Oh, so is there something in your mind you think she was helped?
People that were on the boat did help pull her up.
All right. Did she climb up a ladder? Did she go on the swim platform? If you don't,
I believe it was just on the platform. There was a ladder.
Okay. She was walking upright when she got on the boat?
I believe so.
She never fell on the floor?
No,
Okay. The ambulance never showed up? No paramedics?
not that I know.
No? You don't know if this lady was having trouble swimming and that's why she stopped there and may have asked for a life raft, do you?
I don't know.
You have no idea?
Didn't appear so.
Okay, so you don't think she had trouble swimming, this lady?
I don't think so.
Objection, speculation.
And did you see her, or did you see anyone throw her a life raft or her grab one?
No.
Okay. That's why you think she had no trouble swimming, right?
Objection, argumentative.
Overruled.
Was that why?
I don't think she had trouble swimming, but she did not appear to have trouble swimming.
Okay. And at the time she was grabbed the way you described, she was not holding on to a life raft in your opinion?
No.
And Mr. Goldberg, you have no idea if he was swallowing water or what was going in his eyes at the time he grabbed her, do you?
I don't.
Or if he was having trouble breathing?
I don't.
Or how much he had to drink that day? Drank that day?
No.
You don't know?
I don't.
Okay. These are assumptions you're making that this was an intentional act, right?
Objection, argumentative.
Sustained.
And you believe after this lady got on the boat that the people picked up anchor and they left, right?
I'm sorry?
You believe the people in the boat, the two older couples that she swam to, they picked up anchor and left. Remember that?
No.
All right, take a look at your deposition, page 17, line 18 through 21, and read that to yourself, please.
So can you say that?
Page 17, line 18 through 21. Do you remember now?
I do.
I'm sorry?
I do.
Okay, that they picked up anchor, the people at the boat she was on, and they left, right?
Objection and proper impeachment.
I don't know the question and answer, so it's hard for me to rule on that. What is his answer? Let me hear his answer and then I can rule.
When I said that they picked up anchor.
First one, if they refresh your memory, the number one.
Yes.
Okay, so the next question would be, isn't it true, now that your memory is refreshed, that after this lady got on the boat, they picked up anchor and they left?
My statement says that when he returned, the other boat that they got off of picked up anchor and left.
Okay, so explain that to me, because I didn't get that from this, I apologize. Explain that.
Objections overruled.
Which other boat are you talking about?
The boat that they got off of, the one that she jumped off of.
Okay, then that boat leaves.
Correct.
Gotcha. Okay, thanks for clarifying. So after this incident happens with the water, with the dunking, or whatever words you want to use, did you see Mr. Goldberg go on to the back of their boat or try to get on the back of their boat?
He swam away.
No, at first.
At first, he swam away.
Okay, so you didn't see him go to that boat? At first, after the lady goes under the water for a
Yes.
brief second you described, did you see, it's either yes or no, did you see Mr. Goldberg go to the boat that she eventually was on?
Yes.
Okay. Right away, or did time pass before you went to that boat?
Right away.
Okay. So we should get this clear. Lady's dumped into the water the way you described. She gets on the boat. Goldberg's in the water. Now Mr. Goldberg swims or somehow gets to the boat.
Yes.
Okay. And what is he doing? Is he trying to hold on to the back of the boat?
He was trying to get on the boat, and that's when they pulled up the little pole with the hook on
All right. So he's in the back of the boat?
it. Yes.
Or yacht, you call it, right?
I wouldn't call it a yacht, no.
Pretty big boat.
Yes, it was a sizable boat.
Okay. And did you see 5 people on that boat, by the way, or just 4?
I remember seeing two older couples.
Was just 4 people?
Yes.
All right. So he's in the water. He's in the back of the boat. Is there a swimming platform, would you call it, in the back of their boat?
There is.
All right. And did it look to you, from what you saw, that Mr. Goldberg was trying to get on the boat?
He swam up to the back of the boat, and before he could get close enough to put his hands and climb on, they had the poles out.
All right. So your testimony, he was not touching the boat at the time? Or maybe he was, you don't know?
I don't think he was able to get close enough to touch it.
Okay. And then so the lady's on the boat, right? The one we're talking about, who was in the water, you said what happened. He's now coming up to the boat at the time she's already on the boat, right? Correct? Is that the first time you saw the boat hook, as you described it? Is that the first time you saw it?
First time I saw the what?
The boat hook.
Yes.
The pole, metal pole. Okay. So she's clearly in the boat at the time this big pole comes out.
Yes.
Okay. The incident's already over.
Well, it wasn't over, he was still there, and they were.
Right, I mean the drowning, alleged drowning incident. That's done.
Objection, argumentative.
Overruled.
That's done, right?
Yes.
All right, so he's coming up to their boat. Who do you see with the metal pole? Do you remember?
I know. It was one of the men.
Okay, could you hear what they were saying or what they were doing with it?
They were keeping him from climbing up on the boat.
All right, so it was obvious, they're like pointing it out and get away.
Yes.
You couldn't hear the words, but
I did not hear the
common sense tells you that's what they were doing.
Correct.
They were trying to get them to scatter, to leave, right?
Yes.
All right. Do you know if he had a raft at that point or held on to anything?
No.
You don't know?
I don't believe he had anything.
Did you see any ground floaties in the water by that back of that boat?
I did not.
At any time you never saw any floaties?
No.
No rafts, no noodles, or anything you want to hang on to while you're swimming? You didn't see anything like that? So obviously you didn't see a round floaty with a mesh type thing in the middle.
I did not.
Okay. And then after he swims away, everything seemed to be okay, right?
Yes.
And about 20 minutes later, he said your friends noticed he was coming back, right?
Correct.
And before he came back, did you see him get back on the boat that he originally jumped off of?
No,
You don't know where he went?
he did not get back on either one of those boats.
You sure?
Yes,
Okay. So if he came back with a backpack, well, you don't know. You don't know if he had a backpack, right?
I don't.
Okay. So if the police found him with a backpack, you would not know where he got the backpack from, right?
No,
Okay. So for the 20 minutes he was approximately was gone, you have no idea where he went?
no, I don't.
Oh, could have got on somebody's boat?
Objection, asked and answered, and speculation.
But fair to say, he comes back, the same exact guy, he shows back
Objection,
up,
asked and
right?
answered.
Right?
Yes,
Not wearing a mask, he's not wearing any disguise, right?
no,
Okay. Did you see anyone in the water with the young lady beside my client?
no,
All right, so if you didn't see anyone in the water other than my client and her at that moment, it would be fair to say you didn't see a man in the water by that larger vessel grab the woman's hand and guide her up to the boat,
Objection, asked and
Right.
answered.
right?
he was not in the water.
Right. The person was on the boat when they guided her up, right?
Correct.
Okay. And you would have seen if somebody was in the water grabbing her hand to pull her up from out of the water, right?
I believe so, yes.
Right. How far away are you from this boat at this point? Roughly.
15, 20 feet.
Okay. As far as you and I are?
Maybe a little further, maybe to the desk where you're sitting.
Okay. All right. Nothing blocking your view?
No.
You never flagged down the police, right?
Yes, we did.
You?
Yes,
You personally?
yes.
Okay. Was there anybody on the boat that, if you could tell, that the woman was on, that they flagged the police down?
Yes,
And that was only because my client came back after 20 minutes, right?
correct,
Okay. If you come back, you never would have done that, right?
correct.
Thank you very much, sir.
Redirect that motion?
No.
Thank you very much, sir. You can set that.